Right, hello everyone, it's Tuesday, it's just gone midday, Tuesday, the 17th of May, probably. I'm just doing a little appraisal of the, I've got the thingy. I'm a bit late with this. It's the 2005 limited edition Les Paul that belongs to Rob Peach. He sent it me, he lives Birmingham I think, he sent it me over last week, and it's having a complete fret level, fret redress and a complete setup. Now, before I start working on it, I like to give them once over. And when I get something like this in, even though I'm insured for an higher man, I'm insured for 50 grand here in this house. I've got accidental damage for guitars, but before I start work on any of these guitars, what I do is I do an appraisal, and I like to do a little bit of a video just showing what marks, dings, scratches or anything that's already on it, so nothing can come back to haunt me later. Not saying that that would happen, but these things have been known to happen in the past. So I'm just going to run the camera along the length of the guitar. We've got it from the back at the moment. What I can see straight away is there's some scratches, dings and a bit of buckle rash on the back. There's quite a few dings in the back, indentations there. And there's a chip on the headstock at the top end here. So I'm just going to get these on camera. There's a bit of a dig there, there's scratches all here, look, buckle rash and scratches all here. I just like to point these out, a couple of dings here and there. So I just like to point these things out just to save my own, you know what I'm saying. The neck looks okay, there's a chip here. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. Just to show we've got the right guitar, we'll have the made in USA there, and we've got the serial number on there. Very faint serial number, but it's there. So yeah, that's all fine, and a beautiful colour from behind. And then what we'll do is we'll flip the guitar over. Just bear with. Now, there's nothing I've really seen that worries me on the front of a guitar. There's a couple of scratches on the headstock there. No, nothing to worry about, you're not going to see that from more than a few inches away. We'll get it all cleaned up anyway. It looks like an ebony fretboard there. So I'm not refretting it because it'd be a bastard with ebony. It chips. The guitar, there's no chips on here, but there are a couple of light dings. There's a light ding over here somewhere. It's kind of area, but it's nothing you can see from more than a few inches away. So the guitar is in really good condition. Now let me put the camera back. Alright, wow. So let me talk about the guitar itself. It's come in for a fret dress. There are a few frets a little bit. It's not, the frets aren't really not level. I've gained the once over. Now Robert was saying, is getting a lot of dead notes up on the top end here. And I know why. And it's not so much to do with the frets, it's more to do with the action. The action here on the 12th fret was down to 1 millimetre. That's really, really low. We're looking at a recommended 1.5 mil round about the 12th fret. And I recommended 1.75 on the bass strings, 1.5, 1.25 at the very lowest at the 12th fret on the I strings. Now, I would be more inclined to bring this up to about 1.4 mil at the 12th fret. And I've done that, and there's still a couple of dead frets here, dead notes, but it's nowhere near as bad. So I would recommend I recommend iron reaction on here. The action was really low on the treble strings, so I'd go more uniform with that. But what I'm going to do is, I've already had my level checker on the neck. It's got a bit of relief in there. We're going to get the relief out. We're going to get it. It's going to go on the jig later. I'll show you the jig in a second. So what I'm basically going to do, because it's having all the fretwork done and it's having a complete setup, what I'll do is I'll make sure the intonation's right with the old strings on. I'll get the intonation done, I'll get the action done. and then that way when it comes to doing it later, setting up later, it'll be more, it'll be done. All I've got to do is restring it. So I'll get that done, and once that's done, I'll basically check everything. I'll get all the tuners checked, make sure all the screws are tightened, everything's tightened up on there, they're all working fine, and I'll give the electrics a complete check, and we'll make sure there's no crackling pots on anything. If there is, we'll give them a bit of a clean. We'll check all the wiring, make sure there's no cold solder joints, and where this is tarnished, all the tailpiece and the bridge, we'll give that a clean up. We'll clean the clean the pickups, and then we'll look at doing the neck. Now when I do the neck, obviously it's going to be a set neck. We're going to put it on the jig, on the neck jig over there. Now at the moment I've got Andy's Telecaster on the jig. The work's done on it. I just haven't recrowned the frets, which I can do. There's no rush for that. He's not back till the 23rd. He's on tour, so that's going to come off. And this, the Les Paul, is going to go on the jig. Now I'll show you the jig. There you go. What we'll do is we'll have it all strapped up on there like that, and we'll have it where you see the two dials there. That's where we'll level everything off, and we set these dials to 0, and then if we have any movement we'll know about it. Now I won't get any movement. I built this jig myself. The neck, to have its work, will be going on that jig later. We'll get it all strapped in, all nice and tight. We'll get the neck perfectly straight, and then we can start working on the frets. So that's where I am with that. It's a relatively, I love doing necks, I love doing frets. Frets are kind of my thing. It's been my thing. Last couple of years I've had some great, some fantastic guitars in doing fret work on them. Another one, I always seem to get premium guitars when it comes to neck work or fret work, which is great for me because you know, it gets me more established in the community. It brings me a lot more work because people know they can trust me. It's like, for instance, last year I did a vintage Les Paul, a band one, which I refretted, which is probably the best fret job I've ever done, and it just went so smoothly, it went so brilliant. And I did a 1964 Rose Morris 1964 Rickenbacker 330 guitar, which belongs to a guy who's no longer with us. He left it his nephew in a will, on the condition that he says, I'll leave you this guitar, but I want you to get it back to original spec, it needs a refret and all this, and I want you to play it. And the guy didn't even like Rickenbackers. He bought it to me. I had a budget of £700. I didn't just do a refret, I did a reprofile of the old neck. I re-radiused the rosewood fingerboard. I refretted it, and I put all brand new Rickenbacker, proper Rickenbacker hardware, including pots and capacitors, all to vintage spec. It costs about 350 quid to get the bits for it. Then the man hours I did in it, I don't know how many hours I put into it, 30 odd hours or whatever, but I thoroughly enjoyed working on it. And my lad, when he got it back, he now plays it every day. It's his favourite guitar, so I think I did a good job there. There's pictures of the Rickenbacker online, and on my Facebook page there, and on all my adverts. It was great. So I love doing fret work. It can be a pain in the arse, and it is time consuming, and you've got to be very careful. You've got to be skilled, and you've got to be very, very careful with the guitars, because guitars, especially Gibson, well, any guitar, but Gibsons, you drop a file anywhere near it, it's going to scratch it. Now I did have an accident with a guy's acoustic a few months back where I damaged the paintwork, and it cost me £200 to put right, which the job I took on was only a £60 job. I don't think it was that. So that ended up costing me 150, 160 quid. But if I do anything wrong, I will put it right. But I don't do stuff wrong anymore. This is why I praise a guitar. I put it on a video. I show you what's what. And like I say, I'm insured here, and everything will be done. Everything will be strapped up. It'll all be taped off. Well, no problem. So there you go. So that's where I am with that Gibson. I'm going to start it today. I'm in absolutely no rush. I talked to Robert. I'm in no rush to get this done, but I like to do these things right. If you want any fretwork doing, you really want to give me a go, because I'm good at this stuff. I prefer not to do stainless steel frets because they knacker your tools up, but you know, I've got some jobs lined up. I've got some scallop necks coming in for refrets, which again is another hard work, I've got a maple neck coming in with lacquer, which again is a pain in the arse. It's hard work, but people bring these things to me because I must be pretty good at it. So anyway, here's this guitar. This is the before I start work. I'm going to blob on with it. I'm going to take it nice and steady today, and I'll get back to you soon. Be good to each other now. I'll talk to you later.